Hi everyone! So I'm going to do a video today that hopefully is incredibly insightful for the larger population of my viewership, or whoever stumbles upon this. Hello. Hi. I happen to be wearing green. We're going to be talking about money today. I did not think about putting the green on in the video correlation, but I guess that's your subconscious for you. But it is my Protect the Skin You're In, Marc Jacobs with Miss Jovovich. So, you know, we're talking about skin, green, and then my notes are in green pen. Thank God that teacher from Mean Girls is not here because he would have a field day with me. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about why is skincare so expensive, and I'm going to kind of give you a bunch of different examples. I'm going to kind of explain the process a little bit for you and just explain some kind of insight. Not that I am like an industry insider and I know all the information that there ever is, and some of this, you know, throwing darts at the dartboard could probably not be correct, but I'd like to think that I've done enough research to where I can provide some sort of evidence, insight, information to you guys, so that way you can take that knowledge and run with it and turn it into your own, and then create your own thoughts and feelings and opinions and actions about it. I'm not your mom or your dad or your parent or whatever. I'm not your financial advisor, so I'm not here to tell you how you have to spend your money. I'm your friend. I'm trying to help you out. So take that for what you will. So when we're looking at pricing overall, it can really depend on the type of product that it is. Cleanser in general tends to be less expensive because it doesn't sit on your face very long, and it goes down the drain at the end of the day. And so that's why you can get a lot more product for less money, because it's just designed to really only do a few things. With that said, there are cleansers that have other benefits to them, and if you're willing to take the time to massage them in your skin and leave them on your skin for any significant amount of time, then it could be worth it. But if not, then don't spend a ton of money on cleanser. That's my opinion. Serums, they're designed to penetrate deeper. It's going to be more expensive. You have to create them to work on a finer scale and to penetrate deeper and to be a little bit more effective in that sense. Moisturizer, I think, you know, it's designed more so to stay on the surface because it has, you know, butters and oils and thickeners and those sorts of things that are designed to keep it on the surface of the skin to treat the skin type. So it makes sense to get a good moisturizer, but don't expect to pay $200 for a moisturizer and expect it to work as well as, you know, a really well-made $70 serum. It just is not designed to penetrate as deep. Eye creams tend to be so expensive, which is strange to me, because you get a lot less product, and oftentimes they're very similar to moisturizers. You know, whether you want an eye cream or not is up to you, but I think it, you know, it just, for whatever reason, tends to be an expensive product. I don't know. It's just this whole idea that you need a separate eye cream. Well, why is skincare so expensive? It's part of the personal care industry, and it's a very saturated market. At times it can be oversaturated, i.e. BB creams. So because of that, there's a ton of competition, right? So brands are always trying to outdo each other. So it's sort of like a rat race in a way, because it's everyone's trying to outdo each other, and they're trying to come up with bigger and better formulas, which sometimes can, you know, cost more money. So there's that. But let's break it down. First, we'll start with ingredients. There's different qualities of ingredients, and when I say qualities, I just mean different forms of ingredients. Let's take, for example, retinol, right? Retinol is not a cheap ingredient by and large, regardless of the context, whether it be retinol, retinol palmitate, transretinoic acid. It's not a cheap ingredient to include. It's an effective ingredient, we know this, but it's not cheap. So when you take, for example, retinol, and you talk about retinol versus retinol palmitate is actually a derivative of retinol combined with palmitic acid, and palmitic acid is a derivative of palm oil from palm trees. So it's already kind of diluted a little bit, and because of that, it doesn't penetrate as deeply as regular retinol, and with something that is designed to be cell communicating and encourage the lowest depths of your skin to encourage, new collagen to send the message that they need new and fresh collagen, you want something that's going to absorb. So ingredients that have retinol palmitate tend to be less expensive because they tend to be less effective. Now, with that said, some companies will include retinol palmitate, claim they have retinol because they do have retinol, but it's not going to be as effective as something that's just regular retinol or trans-retinoic acid or trans-retinol ester or whatever you have it. So that's why, for example, we'll take Sunday Riley Luna has retinol in the form of, I always forget which one it is, trans-retinoid acid ester. So that is a form of retinol that apparently is a little bit more effective and it's kind of like related to retinol, but not as irritating. So again, it's retinol, it's more expensive, that's why this happens to be pricey, plus blue tansy oil is hard to get your hands on and it is expensive. So there's that. Same thing for vitamin C. Ascorbic acid is much more expensive than ascorbyl palmitate or any variation of vitamin C that happens to be in a lot of products. That's why products with plain ascorbic acid, which is the most potent and the most effective, is going to be more expensive than something that doesn't have that pure ascorbic acid or L-ascorbic acid. So that's why Kate Somerville's vitamin C is much more expensive than Ole Henriksen's Pure Truth serum. I'm spitballing, mind you. This is just I'm kind of highlighting one fact. It could be combined with multiple factors, and we'll get to that throughout the video. So we'll just say that if it's solely based on ingredients, that's why some of these are more expensive than others. How about that? Next, some companies will import ingredients. Say, for example, Sunday Riley again, their Artemis oil features lemon ironbark and lemon myrtle, which has to be imported from Australia. So you're already looking at cost of importing, the cost of sourcing it, the cost of, there's also exchange rates involved. So any company that's going to source their ingredients from different parts of the world is already going to be more expensive. Next, we'll talk about creating your own ingredients. So I know Tata Harper is quite known for this. They have a farm in Vermont where they grow a lot of their own ingredients to use, and that's going to be a lot more expensive because you have to pay people to tend to the plants, to the farmers. You have to have the land to be able to do that, so that costs money. And it's just a lot more expensive to do everything yourself than it is to kind of outsource it and have someone else do it for you and pay a lot less money to do it. So that, of course, is going to add to the cost. And that's Tata Harper's brand philosophy, and their pricing strategy is very interesting. You should give it a read. Some people will say that it's either worth it or some people won't. For me, the fact that they use, renewable energy and that they grow their own stuff and they do their own research and development is kind of, a point of difference, and I really appreciate them for that, and that's why I feel like a lot of the times it is worth it to pay the money, because I'm supporting more than just the product. And that's something you might think about as well. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of these companies that are quite expensive either are these massive corporations and they can charge whatever they want, or they're smaller companies who have to, at the end of the day, make a profit, but also, sometimes they'll do their own research and development, or when they are creating products and they're ordering ingredients, they have to order smaller batches because they don't want to waste the ingredients because they are not large enough to have this massive distribution, and it's more expensive to buy smaller batches of things. I'm sure all of us, are familiar with Costco in the sense that it's much cheaper to go to Costco and buy wholesale than it is to just buy a few boxes of Kleenex at the drugstore, and that, I think, sort of ties in with that. Larger batches, say, for example, let's take Neutrogena, and I'm not going to be bashing any brand at all. Neutrogena is a huge corporation, so when they make their retinol cream, first of all, creams don't penetrate as deeply as serums, and that's a different story, but they can order a huge batch of retinol to include in their retinol cream, and it won't cost them as much because they're ordering more. Again, spitballing, keep that in mind. And also, doing smaller batches can cost more money because it ensures potency and efficacy, and it's more expensive to do because you're having to spend more time to do it. It's not as productive as, say, a huge assembly line, and so it's going to add to the cost. So when we're talking about ingredients, there's ingredients that are expensive and then there's ingredients that aren't. And I want to make sure that you guys know that you're going to be getting what you pay for. You know, whether that be the best texture that you've ever felt in the entire world and you're obsessed with it, or whether it just be because you want to buy the brand name or you want to buy it because of the hype. You know, that's up to you. Let's take, for example, mineral oil. Mineral oil, if you want to know my opinion on mineral oil, not that you asked, because, you know, this is not two-way conversation. Mineral oil I have zero problem with. If it's in products like cleansers, and specifically makeup removing cleansers, that's about the only place that I want it. Mineral oil is completely inert, so it has no potential to penetrate. It's just designed to stay on the surface of the skin and work in a superficial way. And I'm okay with that. I want that there on the surface to break my makeup down and stay there. You know, that's great. Okay. But at the same time, mineral oil is literally like the cheapest ingredient in the entire world to use in cosmetics, so it doesn't make sense to spend a ton of money on a product that is loaded with mineral oil. Next, we'll talk about formulation in general. The cost of doing research and development can be expensive, regardless of the context. It just so happens that major corporations oftentimes have their own labs that they can test in, whereas other companies have to reach out to labs and have them formulate it for them, and that can add a little bit to the price. It also is much less expensive to throw in a lot of really cheap fillers and thickeners and binding ingredients into products than it is to find a natural or organic alternative, or to create a product that doesn't require those, or to create a product that just doesn't contain them at all. It's much more expensive to create a product that just doesn't have as much crap in it, essentially. You know, alcohol is really inexpensive, mineral oil is really inexpensive, and you'll see a lot of these really expensive products happen to have these really, you know, those ingredients in them, which brings me to the next point. A lot of the times you're going to pay for the name. We are all familiar with what this is. We are all familiar that they are expensive. They are a huge company. They can charge whatever they want. You're paying for the name, you're paying for the trademarks that they have, you're paying for the logo. Does it mean you're always paying for incredible products? No. But then that doesn't necessarily mean the same for small brands. Just because it's a small brand doesn't mean their products are any good. But a lot of the time these expensive companies, these large, huge, well-known companies tend to be a little bit more expensive, especially when it comes to like designer houses and that sort of stuff. It's because you're paying for the name. Let's talk about packaging as well. High quality plastics, packaging like thick plastics like that compared to this, which is much thinner, and like I can squish this. I cannot squish this one. This is totally malleable. High quality plastics are going to cost more money. They're also a little bit better because they are most of the time BPA free, which is good. You know, that's always something that we like to look out for. Glass packaging is much more expensive. It's also better for the environment. So, you know, give or take. That's why I believe all of Tata Harper's products are packaged in glass, because it is better for the environment, but it's just more expensive. And recyclable glass, nonetheless, is expensive to create. That's why you'll never really see a glass jar in the drugstore, because it just costs too much money. And you'll never see super high quality plastics at the drugstore just because it costs more money. And also creating stable packaging can be quite hard. Getting, you know, formulating this double pump was probably not easy, and ensuring that the packaging works to get the every last drop of product out is going to cost a little bit more money. Using glass that happens to be tinted or coated, whether it be plastic or glass, is more expensive. And creating something that's going to be completely airtight and sealed tends to be harder as well. I know, for example, Paula's Choice Retinol is packaged in the dark. They fill the serum bottles in the dark. That way it's not exposed to any premature light or air in an airtight and dark environment. So, you know, that's something that can add to the cost. You know, it can also come down to the brand ethics. Some companies want to position themselves as luxury products and luxury skincare, and of course they're going to be more expensive. Some companies, like, again, we'll take Paula's Choice, want to know that, wants their consumers to know that they're going to be getting high quality products, but they try to keep them as low as they possibly can. And I've heard stories of them not rolling out a product because just to create it the way they want to be effective, to, function fantastically, would cost too much money, so they scrap the idea. But then there's also companies who, we are luxury, we're going to throw as much stuff in there as we possibly can to create a fantastic product, and we are luxury, you're going to be paying for the luxury experience. And I'm going to throw in one last point, and I'm probably shooting myself in the foot for this, but at the end of the day, I am a lizard, so it would just grow back, so I'm okay with that. I think a lot of these companies that, I think, okay, $50 for a serum, fantastic. $70, doable, totally okay. $80, yes. $90, yes. $100, we're pushing it, but yes. $150, if it's the best thing that I've ever seen in the entire world, yes. $1,000 for a moisturizer, no. Is insane. And that's where you get to the point of insanity, and that's where you get to the point of the companies basically are slapping you in the face, essentially. They are saying, you have no idea, you think that this is more expensive and therefore it's better, so give us your money, here you go. Here's, sometimes they're good products, it's simply there for profit, and I think a lot of companies will charge that huge amount of money because they know deep down that people are stupid enough to spend that amount of money because they have more money than sense, or they've spent so much on marketing and manipulation that they're trying to convince people that spending this amount of money on something is really going to make a difference. It just, I don't know, I don't think it can. And that's sort of where I stand with that. I'm not naming any names, any companies. There's only so much skincare can do. You cannot get plastic surgery results or Botox results from a serum. You just can't. Because legally, things are not designed to penetrate as deep as Botox can go. Or prescription strength stuff. So take that for what you will. So I think that companies oftentimes will just create expensive products knowing that people will buy them because they just are greedy and they want to get profit. No. But again, it's your money. If you have the budget and you choose to spend your money on that, go for it. Let me know if it's good for the rest of us who are, not wanting to spend that much. Just let us know if it's good, and that's up to you. Totally, it's up to you. So we can take a breath now. I wanted to just give you as much information as possible. Take this information, take your own research, do your own research, because I don't know everything, and I'm probably missing on 50% of the points that I could probably throw at you. Take that information and form your own opinion and your own beliefs, and use your money wisely. That's always my whole point. I don't give a crap what you pay for your skincare. All I want is that you're getting good skincare. So whether that be, an expensive serum and a cheap moisturizer, or a great moisturizer that's created fantastically and it's going to work well, I don't care. Wherever you spend your money is where you're going to spend your money. But just do it wisely, do it with intelligence, do it with your own research, and make smart decisions. And I know you guys are capable of that, but it doesn't hurt to say it. Because it's your face, it's worth investing in, but it also doesn't make sense to waste your money on anything. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or you want to, have any discussion, let's keep it civil. Let's just discuss as adults, and, we'll go from there. But hopefully this provided some sort of insight. And again, a lot of these products can be combinations of all of these factors. Some might not have anything to do with some of these factors, and some of them have everything to do with it. So take that for what you will, and just spend your money wisely. I don't care how much you have to spend, how much you're willing to spend, just do it wisely. So, because as a friend, I care. How about that? So, yeah, I hope that was helpful. I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye.